In this video, you'll learn how to use Sage SalesLogix Mobile. I'm using it on a PC inside of a Chrome browser, so your experience may differ slightly on your mobile device. But for purposes of this video, we just want to know how to best use SalesLogix Mobile and explore the additional actions that are native to a mobile environment. The first thing we need to do is launch the SalesLogix Mobile website inside of our mobile device's browser app to get to the logon screen. If your device has the option to add bookmarked pages to your home screen, your options for recording phone calls and emails to notes history may be different, so I recommend that you access SalesLogix from within your browser app instead of launching it from your home screen. Okay, let's log on as Lee Hogan, a Midwest sales executive for Phoenix Computers, and my font may look a little smaller than what you're used to because I'm zooming in for the video. You won't experience this, this cutting off when you're using SalesLogix on your device. Let's choose the option to remember our logon credentials. Turning this option on allows us to bypass this logon screen the next time we launch SalesLogix Mobile. And then we will log on. On the SalesLogix home screen, we have two panels, Quick Actions and Go To. You can hide and show these panels as necessary simply by clicking the blue circle with the double arrows. You'll see pages divided by panels throughout the application, and they help to reduce the amount of scrolling that you have to do. Quick Actions make it easy to perform the most commonly used feature, like adding a new contact and account on the fly. The Go To lists all the different views that we can drill into to find more data. Before we drill into anything more, let's review some of the other icons that we see on our home page. This settings icon is available from every page in the entire application, and when I click it, it allows us to clear saved credentials and clear storage. Clearing saved credentials turns off the Remember Me selection so that we can see the logon screen again the next time we launch the app. And then clearing storage clears all of the local data that your browser keeps for you in the event that you don't have an internet connection. For example, if you turn your phone to airplane mode, you can still access SalesLogix as long as you already had the app running in your phone's browser and you visited some records at least one time. In other words, to take advantage of local storage, the first time you access SalesLogix Mobile with a network connection, you may want to navigate around to your favorite accounts, contacts, and so on, just so that you collect the data for offline use at a later time. Click back. The next icon at the bottom is for Help, which I encourage you to check out. It contains everything that I'm telling you about right now in this video. The top icon is a handy tool to avoid having to scroll so often. We'll probably use this quite a few times once we actually drill into the product a little more. And then Log Out takes you back to the logon screen. And finally, up here in the top right corner, this allows us to personalize the home screen. For example, let's say we don't work with tickets very often, so I can just click once and now tickets is hidden. The other thing I can do is change the sort order or rearrange some of these. So if I want contacts to be at the top, I can simply click the up or down arrows as necessary. Then we need to actually click to save our selection. Note how the save and cancel buttons are in the top left and top right corners of the screen throughout the application. And now you'll see that tickets is gone and contacts is at the top. Okay, let's dive in. Because adding a new contact and account is probably the most common action, let's start with that so that we can get a feel for data entry. The type of field that you're working with is indicated by the icon at the right of the entry area. So this top one is an edit, and it works, once we click in it, it works just the same way as you'd expect when using SalesLogix on your PC. This new screen appears so that I can segment the contact's name out by first, middle, last, prefix, and suffix. And I can simply type in using whatever keyboard is native to my device. And you'll note that when I click inside the pick list field, I get a list of items, and I can choose and click OK, which is indicated by the green check mark. We haven't seen that one yet. And now I like that, and then I click OK again to get back to where I started. Again, this font, you can ignore how it's displaying here in my browser. It won't look that way for you. And then I'll type in the account. And that was just a text entry, as is the email, and so on. And looks like most of these are just text entries and pick lists. And we've already seen how a pick list works, but we can either type our entry in here or we could select from the values. And we can scroll, and let's say we want to choose VP of Sales. This is a good opportunity to show how this top button works. Rather than having to scroll all the way to the top, we can just click that and we're back. And we can choose OK to save our selection, and there it's inserted into the field. And now to actually save the account and contact record, we need to click Save. And once I do that, I'm looking at the account detail view for my new Sunshine Pools account. And looking at this detail view, we see these panels again, so we can hide and show information just by tapping. And under quick actions, some of these are grayed out because if you recall, I did not enter a phone number and I did not enter an address for this account, and that's why. These normally would be links to actually make the call from your device or open Google Maps. All right, so let's just check out some of the stuff under here. Let's say I wanted to change the owner. I'm tapping in here and nothing's happening because we're looking at a read-only view, essentially. If we want to make changes, all we need to do is at the top there's an edit option, and we click that. And now we're looking at basically the same thing, but this time you can see on the right hand that you have the option to change the value. So if we wanted to change the owner, okay, this is a lookup, very similar to what we saw with a pick list. We could easily narrow that down if we're looking for, let's say, Midwest. I can just do that, and there it is. Okay, and now we've changed the account owner, and we're still in the edit screen, so we need to go back up and click Save to get back to our detail view. All right, let's scroll down. A related items panel appears almost with every main view, and it's similar to the More tabs area that you're probably used to seeing in the standard SalesLogix web or LAN client. If I tap Contacts, for example, I see all of the contacts for this account. In this case, there's only one because I just added it, but I could easily add more simply by clicking the Add button in the top right. And I'll cancel out of that. Now that we looked at some quick ways to get information into SalesLogix, let's look at some common ways to get information out. Finding someone's email address to send a quick message, for example, is probably a task you'll do frequently. So I'm looking at Bob Jones's contact detail record now. And you're probably wondering how history is recorded with this activity. Well, once I click to send the email, whatever email application that you have configured on your mobile device will open and allow you to compose a new message. Okay, at this point we're outside of SalesLogix and nothing we do here is being recorded. However, once we send or cancel the message, I'll just minimize, we return back to SalesLogix where it's automatically started a new note for us. This note will appear in the Notes and Notes History tab in the standard product, and then in the mobile product we get to see the Notes History tab. So it serves as a record of the activity. However, unlike the Send SLX feature that you're probably used to in the standard web or LAN client, the contents of your email message isn't saved. You could do so by, before sending the message, copying and then pasting it into this notes field. And that way the contents of your message is also saved with the note. And the other option could be to drag and drop messages from your sent folder in your email client into SalesLogix once you get back to your PC. Otherwise, you could just type in a quick summary of what you did in the notes field, like that, if the contents of your message wasn't necessarily as important as simply recording that a message did take place. And if we had a mobile number entered here, we could click that and then it would initiate the phone call, and the process would work in the same way as we saw with email. A new note would be started so that you could record the phone call to Notes History. Another item that we should probably note is on a detail screen like this, you may see a blue dotted line, and this indicates that when you click the item, you can link out to something else. For example, if we click this, we immediately link to the account details screen. If we click this, we open a new browser tab and jump out to the web, which that address obviously isn't valid. And we'll just switch back to the tab that we were on. So that's what that underline, the blue dot means. Now we learned how to work with data once we find the record that we're looking for, but you're probably not always sitting on the record that you want. So now let's look at ways to search for information. If I click the home button to get back, let's try opportunities. And we can see a list of all the opportunities to which I have access. And this list could be really long. So if we were looking for a particular opportunity, we could search by using starts with, which means that if I wanted to find all opportunities for mobile relief, I could just type in MO, roll the dice, see what I get, and I've got mobile relief as well as mountain ranch. But notice I could not enter relief and expect to get any results because it doesn't start with that name. So that's important to remember when you're doing searches. Another way to search for a group of records is to use hashtags. What I mean by that is to insert a hash symbol, just like that, and then a tag after it. So let's do 1. And when I click search, now I'm querying for all opportunities that have a status of 1. Hashtags are very similar to how you use groups in the standard SalesLogix web or LAN client. How did I know which hashtag to use? Well, easy. I found that by going to help. And here you'll see that for all the views it tells you valid search criteria, and it looks like hashtags are available for opportunity at this point, and then they're also available for notes history. So I could search for only phone calls, only meetings, only email, etc. Other views look like they primarily use the starts with, which I just showed you, except there are 2 exceptions, which is the activities and the notes history. In the regarding, we can search for any word in the regarding field. So let's see what that looks like. Go back, and let's just go to home and pop into notes history. If I type any word, let's say I'm just looking for meeting in the regarding box, and I click search, and now look at all of my matching results: status meeting, phone meeting, schedule, initial qualification meeting, introductory meeting, etc. So that searches for contains. It doesn't have to start with the name. Okay, and then I'll click home to return, and now I'm handing it off to you. We learned how to configure settings and keep local storage for offline data access, how to quickly enter data like adding a new account and contact, how to create notes to record phone calls and email messages, how to easily link to different pages with the fewest taps or touches, and how to use hashtags to search for a group of records in list view. Have fun using SalesLogix Mobile.